Terry.
I pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Please stay standing while we
just said the Pledge of Allegiance, Mom.
recognize those who have passed since the last meeting. Daniel F. Marsklich, John Rogerson. Roll call. Mike Machetta.
Present.
Paul.
Here.
Bill.
Here.
Cassie.
Here.
We have a full board.
Terry,
Yes.
could I just ask anyone who's on Zoom to please mute your phones unless you're going to actually be speaking? Thank you.
Alrighty. The fire exits, people that are in the building, go out this building to the fire escape. Don't go out that door to the stairs, to the elevators. If there's a problem in the building. No attorney concerns. Petitioners. Any petitioners? Come up and state your name, but we know Mr. Distel. How are you?
Good evening, gentlemen and ladies. Larry Distel, past supervisor, 6 years. A good way to start this meeting would be, I see that two people from the village are here, the mayor and the assistant mayor. I'm concerned, I put in for an application, as you know, Mr. Howe, for a generator for town hall. And the village acquired a generator from the New York Rising for the shelter and for the Hunt building. And the generator is on town property. And we're not hooked in to any generator. I tried to get a generator, but was blocked by some members of my board for the $50,000 grant that I got from Senator John Bonasek. Now, it seems to me that it would be very easy to discuss this with the mayor and the trustees on the board to get this generator that's on town property hooked into our building. Throughout the county, we have 20 towns and 3 villages. Just about everybody, with the exception of part-time, like Hardenberg or Denny, have generators that are hooked into their municipalities, except the town of Wawarsing. I think it's long overdue, and I think it's time that the town, council people, and the trustees from the village and the mayor get together to get this job done. The other thing that I've been stressing for quite a while is cable for the 391 parcels that we have not cabled in the town of Wawarsing. Oddly enough, the last meeting of the Cable Commission, as Supervisor Houck was the supervisor, was in 2018. That's 5 years ago. 5 years ago. When I was supervisor, I probably had 10 meetings in that period of time. And you never had a meeting with Spectrum, Verizon, or the Central Hudson to discuss cable for these 391 parcels. Now, during COVID-19, there was many families that had to take their children to other people's houses that had high-speed internet because there was no access at their home. And in that period, the library was closed. And the worst thing you can do is to take your kids to another house, drop them off, let them do their homework, and then bring them back home again. So that's not acceptable. The other thing, and I'm not going to go on too long tonight, but I foiled for, that's another thing, had a $100,000 grant for cameras. Now I understand that you took $49,000 and change out of general fund to put cameras in Littman Park, and I guess there may be some cameras up by the water filtration plant. I don't know how you did that, because I called I call it Albany, and you as supervisor, since 2018, has never processed that grant for $100,000. Doesn't make sense. You're taking money out of general fund, and then you expect to be reimbursed by GASNY, and that's not gonna take place until you process the grant. So you're doing everything backwards. And the last thing I just wanna touch base again is the Wawarsing Water District. You know, when I was supervisor, we established the well fields, and we established everything else, signing contracts and whatever. And then, and I'll just read this to you, which is very annoying to me. This is when you were running for re-election. You created the $20 million Wawarsing Water District project, which will be completed in 2022 at no cost to the people in that district. The only truth about that statement is true. DEP will pick up the cost. When I was supervisor, it started out at $17 million. Now it's up to 22 million, and that's okay because it's going to be paid for by DEP. Also, I discussed with DEP personnel during my last year as supervisor to put a low-pressure sewer line in. I just don't understand why you haven't discussed this with them because of the situation. Ellenville has water and sewer, Navanac has water and sewer, Carnouston has water and sewer, and we're just gonna put a water district in Wawarsing. They're obligated, Terry. They caused the damage. 40 homes were removed from that area. Do you know how much tax revenue we're gonna lose? And it's, once those homes are removed, it's forever wild. There'll be no, and Mr. Brown, you lived in that area, you know that. Forever wild. And the fact is that even their septic systems are shot. The leach fields are shot. At some point, they're gonna have to take out those metal tanks, which you can't put another metal tank in now because regulations have changed, it's gotta be a concrete tank. They shouldn't have to pay for that stuff. Either put a sewer line in that takes the material either to Carnouston or Navanac, or have them pay for the septic systems. And that is not too late to do that. You can sit down as a board and discuss that with DEP and get something done for those people in the hamlet of in Wawarsing. So that's all I gotta say tonight. I appreciate your time. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
All right, at this time, thank you, Mr. Dussel. At this time, we're going to take advantage of a very special person that's on the Zoom meeting, Ms. Marie Stanger. We can go back to anybody that wants to do a petitioner's time after we do this, but we're gonna celebrate Marie Stanger's 100th birthday next week. And the family wanna come in? Ms. Barbara Stanger's
Yeah,
here?
we're here.
Okay, so the family's on. John Stanger's in the audience. I'm gonna come up and and Mrs. Stanger's on the Zoom meeting, and we're gonna recognize her 100th birthday. Come on.
He's got a plaque for you, Mom.
Couple of great grandchildren here.
Well, let's get the grandchild, his daughter, Barbara Stanger. Come on up. I'll go.
Great grandchildren. A couple of my children. I can't call them children anymore.
Bring the whole family.
And grandson.
They could move in the view of the camera a little more so great grandma can see him. Have a move to the right more, right and Terry. There you go. A little more. Where's Jill? Is Jill in there?
Where's Jill?
There's Kate. There's Amelia. And Dylan. Here they all are. Great.
So let's start off by saying, happy birthday, Marie.
You hear? He said happy birthday.
Happy birthday.
Town of Wawarsing proclamation recognizing the 100th birthday of Marie Stanger. Whereas born on November 23rd, 1922, to Calvin and May Cantrell in a farm outside of Monticello, New York, Marie Cantrell grew up in Monticello for most of her youth. Whereas Marie proved to be an exceptionally bright young woman and graduated from Monticello High School at the age of 16. Whereas after graduating, she went to work at Hammond and Cook clothing store where she met her husband-to-be, Vincent Stanger. They would enjoy 66 years together. In 1960, Marie and Vincent would come to settle in their forever home in Craigsmore with their 5 children. They would later welcome 12 grandchildren and 18 grandchildren.
Great, listen, great grandchildren.
Whereas Marie was a faithful volunteer at the Craigsmore Library and loved to tell visitors all about what made Craigsmore so special. Whereas Marie has been a responsible and involved citizen as a purchaser, bookkeeper, fire department auxiliary member, and community participant. Whereas there is so much more that could be said about Marie, but it would fill a book. Suffice it to say, she filled these 100 years helping her family as well as her community in so many ways. Therefore, be it resolved, the Town of Wawarsing Town Board declares November 23rd Marie Stanger Day in honor of her 100th birthday. Presented by the Town Board. Terry Howe, Cassie Spoor, William Brown, Michael Machetta, and Paul Casalino.
What do you think about that, Mon? November 23rd, Marie Stanger Day. Raise your hands up. There you
We
go.
all thank the board very much for recognizing Mom.
Thank you so much.
How about we sing happy birthday?
Yeah, that's.
Happy
Birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Marie. Happy birthday to you.
Thank you.
The case up
That's very much.
Terry, don't forget to remind them about the one from the county.
Yes.
Yes. So, that was from the town of Wawarsing, and the county legislature of Ulster County has a Pride of Ulster County certificate for Maria as well, but county legislator Craig Lopez, his car actually malfunctioned and he couldn't get over here in time, so. We'll have that delivered to you tomorrow, okay?
Thank you so much.
Thanks, Terry. Thanks, Board.
Thank you.
Thank you.
God bless. God bless.
Let's continue the petitioner's time if you like. See you, Barbara. Just come up and state your name. Yanni?
Good evening, my name is Gammy Singer, I'm representing the NAACP, the Ellenville NAACP. This is Deborah Shorter, who is also
Hello, Deborah.
advisor for the NAACP Youth Council. This is about the Burn Road Park, and I'm going to read a position statement. Oh, our President Lord Bruce is also here, looking over my shoulder, okay? The Ellenville NAACP wants it on the record that we support the Ellenville Village Board's position and its request for equity in the disbursement of funds for Burn Road Park. We also agree that Ellenville's request should no longer be ignored. Funding for Burn Road Park should be on par with the funding given to Lippman Park. Ellenville needs new playground equipment. We need the basketball court repaired, a bathroom. Our bleachers are in doubtful condition. We are angry and dismayed by the town of Wawarsing's disconcern about this matter. As the NAACP sees it, whether on purpose or not, there is an underlying racial inequity component to the town's decision to not fund improvement for our park. Recreation resources for our children have been an area of concern of ours for some time, as we understand that the lack of recreation opportunities disproportionately affects children of color and those living at the poverty level. Residents of Ellenville have previously shown they cared and have put money, time, and sweat equity into seeing that the park playground be built and is available to our children. It was important that it be within walking distance and convenient for all. Wawarsing's board must realize that everybody doesn't own a car and everybody can't access Lippman Park. To not maintain and upgrade our park will hasten its demise. No park, no place of recreation for children. This is not what we want for our community. There is also the question of fairness. Ellenville's taxes support Lippman Park, and Ellenville gets no slice of the pie. Is that fair? Is that just? As one of our members puts it, this is a case of taxation without representation. We ask that the town of Wawarsing demonstrate some regard for its larger community, and that Ellenville's requests and concerns be respected and listened to. The NAACP and this community ask for financial and social equity, fairness, and justice. Do not ignore us. Respectfully submitted, Maud Bruce, President, Ellenville NAACP. Do you have anything to add? Okay, one other question I have for the board. According to the amendment resolution about capital improvement, there was an amendment for park improvement. I wanted to know whether that has ever been resolved and whether Wawarsing is getting any money from it. And that's my question. And that's it.
I'm gonna write that down, Jackie, because we have to find
Park
out.
amendment?
You know where that park amendment's coming from?
Yeah.
County, state?
I'm sorry, I can't hear you.
Which park?
If
Amendment?
it was an amendment,
Yeah, so we can research that a little better.
Resolution 289, July 22nd. That's when the amendment was.
July
From
22nd
where?
of this year?
From what municipality or?
Was that the county legislator?
Yes, it's for the, from the, rescue mission of funds.
Funds,
ARPA
ARPA.
If you want a copy, may I leave this?
Yes,
with
please,
you?
I put it in the
You have a copy for
minutes.
yourself or?
Thank you.
All right, thank you for your time.
Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Mr. Kaplan, come on up.
Good evening. I just want to also reiterate some of the comments about what we believe to be the discriminatory practice of this board by spending town-wide funds for one park and ignoring the other. Clearly, we have two town parks, Burn Road and Lippman, and to put money into Lippman Park and just ignoring what's going on at Burn Road Park, the real victims here are the kids that are playing in the Burn Road Park. While the new apparatus goes into the town, Lippman Park, none goes into that. Now, this doesn't happen in Saugerties, this doesn't happen in New Paltz. The town of New Paltz is now in the process of building a youth center in the Village Park. I have directed the village attorney, because for some reason, this board has set up an arbitrary boundary that when you come into Ellenville, town funds, even though village residents may pay for it, should be sparingly spent in the village. We will offer a deed of ownership of the Burn Road Park. We will share ownership with you, 50-50, and I have our attorney looking into how we do that process so we can end that nonsense that one's a village park and one's a town park. These parks are both used by town residents. It's simply unfair that me as a village resident, and some of you board members as village residents, are paying for improvements to Lippman Park while ignoring the fact that it's the same taxpayers that should get the benefit in Burn Road Park as well. This practice has to end. That's not why a village was established, so that you could set up a boundary line and say, give us your money, village residents, but we're not putting any money into the village because we don't have to. This is nonsense. This is a park used by town residents, whether they live in the village or outside the village, and it should be shared expense and paid for just like the Lippman Park. Thank you.
Good evening to you all. I stand as Reverend Julius A. Collins Jr., pastor of the Shiloh Baptist Church here in Ellenville, a resident and proud resident of the town of Wawarsing. I stand representing not just the church, I stand representing the community that surrounds Burn Road Park is full of people who use it. I realize that in my almost 30 years here, be 30 years next month, that I've been a part of this town. That part of the community, I realize we've struggled because in my invitation to our other churches within this community, some of them have a hard time coming to that area. So I understand why sometimes some things have been overlooked. But we're serving a park that is used by so many different people. I watched this year, we talk about the youth, but I watched this year as one of the most active softball and gatherings I've ever seen took place on Burn Road Park, which says that there are people gathering. And I wish that some kind of way, whatever the wall is between town of Wawarsing and Ellenville, some kind of way we gotta realize that we don't survive without each other. We've gotta realize it to a way that we start acting as if we work together to make it better. As Ellenville shines, town of Wawarsing shines. If Ellenville is neglected, or part of Ellenville is neglected, town of Wawarsing has got a problem. When people travel our way, those folk going up the trails, looking over Burn Road Park, they need to see a park that is the concern of all around it. Village, town, the village does a wonderful job of trying to keep up what we have. But there's a time to where everybody gets a piece of the pie. I pray that you will consider doing for Burn Road Park. I love Lippman Park. My family and I go there, my kids play soccer there, but it's one park. And we have a park sitting on Burn Road that offers the opportunity for basketball, tennis, walking, softball, baseball. It offers that opportunity to people that are right here in town. And I pray that you'll take it in deep consideration to do what you can do to make Burn Road Park a beautiful park, an active park, so that the people around it can take some pride in it. And I believe that they will help you to make sure that none of the things that you used to see are part of it anymore. Thank you.
Thank you, Robert. The youngest man.
How's everyone tonight?
Good, how are you?
Good. Ladies and gentlemen, hope you all are doing well tonight. I just wanted to come and support the mayor and the board of trustees with a concern again with Burn Road Park. I did not know that NAACP was going to be here tonight and speaking on behalf of the village of Ellenville and sharing their thoughts regarding that. But I want to appeal to your conscience. I want to appeal to your conscience. I know all of you were all part of this community, part of this village of Ellenville, town of Wawarsing, and I know that, deep down on the inside, that we all are working for the good of the town of Wawarsing. I remember being on the board and being elected to the board, I don't know, over 20 years ago. And during those times, there was this attitude in the town, Wawarsing, village of Ellenville, we versus them versus us. And we have certainly made good grounds over the years. We've torn down some walls. We have worked better together, and I believe that's part of who we are and what we need to do. The village, it's not adversarial. We don't want to fight. We don't want to argue. We don't want to, but we want to find a way that we can work together. And in the village of Ellenville, times were a whole lot better for us. Years back, times were better. We were able to get grants for recreational needs. Money was available much more readily than it is now. And a lot of that has dried up. The monies that we tried to find, to fix up the Burn Road Park, it's, there are many other issues, which you all know, that are more dire, to our residents in the village. And so what happens is that the Burn Road Park and recreational within the village sometimes, takes a hit, and it takes it's put on the back shelf. So we're striving and we're trying to do our very best with what we have. And, a lot has already been said concerning the Burn Road Park, so I'm not going to belabor it anymore, but I really want to appeal to your conscience. As Reverend Collins said, and Ellenville NAACP said, that there are many of our youth that are not able to get to Lippman Park. And Lippman Park is a beautiful park. I do go there. I'm fortunate that I have a vehicle and I can get there. But there are many who do not have a vehicle, do not have the means to get to a beautiful park as Lippman. And so again, I want to appeal to your conscience, to help us where you can. Let's join forces together so that we can, help beautify the Burn Road Park. There's a lot of need there. And again, the village does not have the necessary monies to really prepare it the way we really see that it needs to be prepared. So I hope that you can consider, the comments from the residents. Hope you can consider and find a way that we can work together and beautifying the Burn Road Park. And I appreciate any thought and any concern that you can give towards this. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yep, thank you.
Good evening.
I'm speaking as a taxpayer in the village and in the town. I I live on that side of town, and I just want you not to forget about the other park in town, which is the Mill Street Park. I think it needs a little tender loving care as well. I just wanted to add that. I agree with everything that was said tonight, but I wanted to add not to forget about that park as well.
Right.
Thank you.
Thank you. Anybody else in the audience presently that want to discuss this more, or any other concerns that they have tonight? The board will take every single word that was heard tonight into consideration, and we have been dealing with the village on some of these issues, the park, emergency shelter, a number of other, initiatives. They used to be called shared services, but some of these things are not shared. They're going to be paid out of the town budget, which I totally understand. The Village of Ellenville are residents of the town, so that is the case. We're going to review what was said on the meeting, and we'll have a meeting with the village. But we have, up until this time, we just haven't been not doing anything. We've had at least 2 or 3 different submissions by the village manager, which I imagine that he has talked to the village board about it back in April and May concerning these issues, and we'll discuss that at our next meeting. Obviously, they weren't to the point where they could be discussed really responsibly. So there has to be a legal aspect to it, and we understand that everybody uses both parks. And, but there is, like Ms. Schroeder said, there's the Mill Street Park. There's a park up in Greenfield Park. Also, there's where? Yeah, Bob Mangles Park also, that we maintain in the village presently. It's not used for a lot, but it's maintained to some extent. So, there's a lot more conversation that'll be going on regarding these concerns, and I hope we get to like most of you have mentioned, a workable relationship with the village. Correspondence? Yes.
I have a letter dated November 17th, 2022, from Frank Wood. Dear Supervisor Hauk, this letter is to officially inform you of my resignation from both the Building Department and the Planning Board of the Town of Wawarsing, effective as December 21st, 2022. I would like to thank you and the Town Board for giving me these opportunities over the past few years. It's been my privilege to serve our community. This has been a very hard decision to come to, but due to my age, health issues, and family commitments, it is now time for me to commit to my next chapter of my life. In parentheses, grandkids and family. I will be committed to helping this board in any way I can to make this transition go smoothly. I would also like to thank the ladies in the building department, for which without their knowledge and assistance, I would not have been able to do my job. I would also like to thank the planning board members for the hard work they provide for the improvement of our town and its future. They made me feel welcomed from the very first meeting. Sincerely, Frank Wood.
All right, thanks. I'll go to the agenda. So we have the first thing on the agenda is a resolution. 2022, the Wawarsing Town Board by resolution approved to adopt and issue a negative declaration notice of determination of non-significance under the seeker in the matter of the application of Somerset Partners, LLC, known as Somerset Catskill Holdings, LLC, for the redevelopment of the former Nevele Resort.
I'll make the motion.
This is a roll call because since it's a resolution, and Mr. Machetta?
Yes.
Paul?
Yes.
Paul? I'm Bill.
Bill.
Yes. Kathy?
Yes.
And I vote yes. All right, we have Mr. Michael Moriello, who's the land use attorney, on Zoom for Somerset Partners.
Yes, Mr. Supervisor and town board members, I'd like to
thank you all on behalf of the client and on behalf of myself and all of the consultants on the project team. This has been about almost a 17-month process, getting to the neg deck, and I think it's a very, very solid document. There was a lot of work put into it, not only by the town board itself, but your consultants. We had very, very good input from Jonathan Lockman and from Mary Lou and from Bill Collier. So I'd just like to tell you, thank you very, very much. This is a real big step for us and for the project. Terry, the only thing, the first page we can put the date on, and then there's a place for you to sign at page 99, and date again, and then Jackie can certify it and file it. If you want, you can send me the pages that get signed and dated, and I'll put it together and do it like we did last time. We'll circulate it to all the agencies and give you an affidavit of mailing, so the board has it. I think you also have to sign the resolution too, Terry.
Correct.
The 4 exhibits are with it. I'll put those 4 exhibits and make sure they're with it, but the resolution is Exhibit C. And then the only other thing we need to do, if you email me all that back, we'll get all of that circulated. We'll take care of the publication in the environmental news bulletin, notice bulletin rather, and then the only other thing we were going to ask is that the board just refer our matter of the rezoning over to the planning board, because as you know, we have to have a public hearing with the planning board, and we have to get a recommendation from the planning board. So if the board can just refer us over to the planning board, that would be the last step we would need tonight, I think.
So I think we'll make a motion now. Does somebody?
We have a resolution for that right now.
Okay. So, yes, thanks, Mike. Just to let the public know, this is a matter of record. It'll be on the website. It's spoilable. You can come in and get it. It's about 100 pages plus 13 pages plus 10 pages. And it's a lot of work that was done by the town board to revitalize that Neverly property, which is 600 plus acres on both sides of 209. Presently, they're not looking to do any development on the right side of 209 going that way, but they are, and they do have a very, very impressive project design. And this is not a quote, but from what recollection that we have from this, Mike, if you agree, I believe we have a boutique hotel that would be part of the complex. Would be some townhouses that would be part of the hotel complex itself. There'd be some cottages that would be in the same circumstance. It would be a private property as well, with 45 to 55 single-family homes that are 3, 4, and 5,000 square feet. There'd be some farm-to-table agricultural situations on the property. The Neverly Falls would be used and accented with spa facilities. So it would be a property that would bring taxes to the community from the private homes as well as the public entity itself with sales tax and tourism and jobs. They haven't thrown a number out there, but it could be a couple hundred jobs, at least 200 jobs. They're looking to do 100 unit workforce housing on the property. And so it's a $400 million project from what they're saying. So this could transform our town back, into something that is really desirable. From looking at this, you talk about the DEC, you talk about sometimes some hotels, when you go to a hotel, you see a lot of blacktop and concrete, and there's very little, really enriching parts of, that complex that you're paying money for. Anyway, but from what I've seen, Mr. Rubenstein, Keith Rubenstein was here today and talked to me for about an hour about this process today and what's going to happen in the first week of December when they're going to be bringing some people here and So, can't be any more excited about it. It's gonna change, it's, again, the other night when the Ulster County had their budget meeting in the town, in this room, because they pick a couple different rooms throughout the county, a couple different towns to come and talk to. They picked this town. And this town is obviously at the base, at the bottom of Ulster County. We've always heard that we're at the bottom of the county, we're never looked at, we're never, helped out and all that. Well, this, I think, is the total opposite, and it should be the opposite, because when this project gets done, people that are coming from New York City up of Route 17 or wherever they're coming from the south, this is a wonderful way to, to drive into Ulster County itself and town of Wawarsing as a whole. It can change the downtown of Ellenville, the village. The village has provided water and sewer to the Neville and the Honors Haven for 100 years, Mr. Mayor. So they'll be back to doing that. They're gonna be getting revenue for that. Okay, so that's a very big positive for the village of Ellenville. A very, very big positive for Ellenville. Another thing I'd like to say publicly is the county legislature in the last month or so approved making the villages in the county whole from unpaid taxes. All right, so there's 62 counties in New York State, and only 4 of them didn't do that. Now there's 3. And one of them is, the newest one is the village of Ellenville, which by the county making the village whole is gonna help tremendously, obviously, to make up for the people that are not paying the taxes, to keep the revenue stream going. There's a lot of other things that the village, I mean, we could sit and, again, our conversation tonight, I appreciate the people coming at the petitioner stand to talk about it, organizations, individual people. It's a positive thing. And I don't mean to make anything negative, but there are things that are just factual that we have to, through this process, whether it's the park, whether it's this, whether it's that, the village and the town has to work together. But there are things that I think the town has advantages of, which in our budget is important. The village is at a disadvantage in some fashions, but we also would like to work with them to make sure that they actually do some of the things they should be doing. And I don't mean to be mean, but, and I wouldn't consider it mean, it's factual. Revenues in the village or any municipality, you get revenue from a building department, you get it from collecting taxes, and you get it from the courts. That's 3 different revenues, unless I'm missing something. Right now, the court is being transferred over to the town. So the town is taking over all of the court proceedings as of December 1st. That wasn't something that we actually asked for, but that is something that we're going to do, because we have to. And we're gonna do it the right way, and we're gonna do it for everybody that lives in the town of Wawarsing. I would hope every department, the building department in the town of Wawarsing, the building department in the village need help. We just had somebody resign today for, very good purposes, to spend time with their grandchildren and their family. But building departments in general, specifically village, town, have to do their job. And we have to get permits for things that need permits. I can't stress it enough. And that has to be a really back and forth conversation where we understand it, we agree with it, and we are proactive with it. And I don't mean to say that you need a permit to, just to get money. It's a permit for safety purposes. There's a lot of things that the building department has for rules that are, we have to actually follow all of them, not just some of them. Collecting the taxes, again, this is a very big step for the county to do that, and it's a very, very positive step for the village. Yesterday, I met with Judge Dishon and Judge Lonstein and our court clerks, and we met with Office of Court Administration from Albany, and they're giving us, training on how to transition from taking the court from the village and bringing it to this, into the town. There's a lot of things that we have to do, and we're gonna do them the right way. And, hopefully, there's not gonna be any, we're not gonna skip a step, we're not gonna be slow to getting it done. We're gonna do it with the best of our ability, and, that's pretty much it. So, let's go to the next situation and the next comments in the public meeting.
Yeah.
Did we do Stanger?
Do we need to do this, or we just did it when we did that?
No, the next thing on the agenda was the Marie Stanger, which we've
Yeah.
already done.
Yep.
Well, we need to actually do it as a formal resolution, Jackie just said.
Yes,
It's on
yes, we presented, but we didn't vote.
Right.
Correct, so, resolution, the town board by resolution is pleased to declare November 23rd, 2022 to be Marie Stanger Day.
Move it.
I'll second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Oh, no, it's
Roll
a
call.
resolution vote, so you gotta, Mike,
Aye.
Aye.
Razzie, and I vote aye. That motion, or that resolution is, carried and approved. So the very first one is budget modifications. We do have a budget mod from the general A fund. Increase the revenue code A4089, ARPA revenue, $58,000. Increase the expense code A4540.4, ambulance contractual, $58,000. This is to cover the expenses associated with the Cohasset First Aid and Rescue Squad for 2022.
I'll move it.
Second.
Nancy makes a motion, Mike seconds it, all in favor?
Aye.
Motion's carried. Number 2, town board to approve bills as ordered. We have 3 signatures.
So moved.
Second.
Bill makes a motion, Mike seconds it, all in favor?
Aye.
Motion's carried. Number 3 is not done. Number 4, to approve the building department report for October 22nd. The Justice Court Department for October 22. The Highway report for October 22. The Town Clerk's report for October 22. The Dog Controls Officer's report for October 22. The Supervisor's report prepared by the Accounting Office for 2022.
I'll move 4 through 9.
I'll second it.
Bill makes a motion 4 through 9. Paul seconds it. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion's carried. Number 10, town board to authorize the town clerk to advertise for 1 member to serve a 7-year term on the town planning board. This term will expire on December 31st, 2029. The applications are to be returned to the town clerk's office by noon on Wednesday, December 15th, 2022.
So moved.
Mike makes the
Second.
motion, Bill seconds it, all in favor?
Aye.
Motion's carried. Town board to authorize the town clerk to advertise the hours that the town hall, transfer station, and highway department will be closed for the upcoming holidays. Number 12.
Yeah,
Yeah,
you missed
you
skipped number 11.
Okay. Town board to authorize the town clerk to advertise 1 member to serve a 5-year term on the zoning board. The term will expire on December 31st, 2027. The applications are to be returned to the town clerk's office by noon on Wednesday, December 15th, 2022.
So moved.
Mike makes a motion,
Second.
Bill seconds it, all in favor?
Aye.
Motion's carried. Number 12, town board to authorize the town clerk to advertise the hours that the town hall, transfer station, and highway department will be closed for the upcoming holidays.
So moved.
Second.
Bill makes a motion, Paul seconds it, all in favor?
Aye.
Motion's carried. Town board to approve to donate $500.
Oh, you missed it, no, 13.
13.
Man, I just-
Right there.
I put a check on number 13 and 12. Town board to approve to sponsor holiday home lighting decorating contest. Registration is from November 28th to December 12th, winner announced on December 24th.
So moved.
Second.
Paul makes a motion,
Mike made it.
Mike makes a motion, Paul seconds it, all in favor?
Aye.
Almost over, Terry.
You're
in there. Okay. 14.
14, town board to approve to donate $500 to the Noonday Club towards their annual senior citizen holiday dinner.
I'll make
to be
that.
held on December 4th.
Paul made the motion, I'll
Paul
second.
makes a motion,
I'll
Mike
second.
seconds it, all in favor?
Aye.
That motion's carried. 15, town board to approve to the voucher in the amount of $551.88 to Barbara Pays for building department training in October 2022.
So moved.
Second.
Bill makes the motion, Mike seconds it, all in favor?
Aye.
Motion's carried. Town board 16, town board authorizes the supervisor to execute an agreement with the Humane Society of Middletown to accept any dog brought to the shelter by the dog control officer, Jill Schulfelt, space permitting. The term of this contract will be from January 1st, 2023 and ending in December 31st, 2023.
So moved.
Second.
Cassie makes a motion, Mike seconds it, all in favor?
Aye.
Motion's carried. 17, town board to approve payment application number 8 in the amount of $61,731.45 to Rutledge Excavating for the Wawarsing Water District Local Road Water Distribution Mains Contract TWWD Bid 09.
I'll move it.
Cassie
Second.
makes a motion, Paul seconds it, all in favor?
Aye.
Motion's carried. Town board to approve payment application number 3 in the amount of $97,137.50 to Grant Street Construction for the Wawarsing Water District Local Road Water Distribution Mains, Contract 1, General Construction, WWD bid number 7.
I'll move it.
Cassie makes that motion.
Second.
Paul seconds it, all in favor?
Aye.
Motion's carried. Number 19, town board to approve payment application number 4 in the amount of $97,963.27 to H. Ulsterhout Excavating for Wawarsing Water District Individual Service Hookups. WWD bid 08.
So moved.
Bill makes a motion, Cassie seconds it, all in favor?
Aye.
Motion's carried. Town board to approve payment application number 14 in the amount of $48,450 to TAM Enterprises for the Wawarsing Water District Water Treatment Facility and Well Field.
I'll move it.
Second.
Cassie makes a motion, Paul seconds it, all in favor?
Aye.
Motion's carried. Number 21, town board to accept the following proposals for the installation of a fence at the Kerhonkson Pump Station.
I'll move it.
Second.
There's 3 quotes.
Yep.
Cassie makes a motion, Bill seconds it, all in favor?
Aye.
Motion's carried. Number 22, town board to award the proposal for the installation of a fence at Kerhonkson Pump Station to Pulaski Fence Corp. in the amount of $6,785.
I'll move it.
Second.
Cassie makes a motion, Paul seconds it, all in favor?
Aye.
Motion's carried. Town board authorized supervisor to execute the agreement with Linstar for the installation of 1 camera at Nappy Trailer Park Treatment Plant. The cost for the camera and installation is $926.04.
Okay, and number 24.
Who makes the motion?
I do.
And I'll second it, sorry.
Paul makes a motion, Cassie seconds it, all in favor?
Aye.
That motion's carried. 24, town board to refer Somerset Catskill Holding LLC to the planning board for comment and public hearing.
I'll move it.
Second.
That's Cassie makes the motion, and Paul makes the very big motion. This is a big motion.
This is a big one, yes it is.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. Yes. Okay. At this particular time in the meeting, we have Mr. Pays at the helm.
At the helm. We're in the tree business, fellas.
Yeah.
We've been doing it for the last month now. I mean, we're doing a lot of tree work.
And some of it's in the village, right?
We've done some in the village. We gotta do some
On
more.
the Burn Road?
Yep, we've done down to the town line. If we get caught up, we're gonna go from the town line down to Eastern Correction, but right now we're doing up in Greenfield Park. A lot of trees, all day. In fact, just before I come here, I had to go down to Lundy Road, a tree fell down across the road, which came across state property, across the road. So we had to go open that up.
And we've actually had to buy 2 trucks for the tree trucks. We have 2 4-man teams for taking trees down.
Central Hudson's contractors working up in Greenfield Park as well. They were clearing the line, the power lines the other day.
Yeah.
And the other thing I got,
They get it off that wire, is
I
it?
called
Hope so.
Arkell today. We ordered a truck a year and a half ago. They say won't get 1 truck till next June or July.
Jeez.
I don't know what the price is gonna be. It's up to, I'm gonna talk to
Try a
the
different
board. and see if we can get a different truck.
Yeah,
This
look
is
at it,
2.5
get a truck.
years now. We gotta have 2 years before you can see this truck.
Oh, different company.
Well, I'm gonna start tomorrow looking around. We can't wait that long.
No.
We started the program, it's working good. and
Yeah, we're
trying to keep it
rotating
that
our,
way.
rotating the inventory well, yeah.
So, that's what I heard for today.
Okay. Mike Machetta.
Okay, to remind folks that Saturday, December 3rd is the Joshua Peter Memorial Electric Fire Truck Parade here in the village. It's grown every year since it started. It's a wonderful, wonderful event. A lot of people come out for it. Kids have a great time. Looking at these trucks decorated, vehicles all lit up for the parade, and of course Santa Claus at the end. Also, folks, the cold season is upon us. Please have your chimneys cleaned, your boilers serviced, change your smoke detectors, your batteries and your smoke detectors. If you can afford to buy the new ones, they're 10-year battery. CO2 detectors because of boiler malfunctions. It's just a safety issue. Keep us volunteers out of your house. We don't want to come there, have to save you if we don't have to. So I'd like to publicly thank Frank Wood for the phenomenal job he's done in the building department. He will be missed. He was a great asset to us. When I came on the board and found out he was there, I was excited. I've known Frank 30 years and supplying him building materials, and it's sad to see him go. I wish him luck, him and his family. I've known them a long time. They're great people, and he's gonna spend more time with his grandkids, which is great. I wasn't gonna say anything about what happened here tonight as far as the conversations we had, but it touches home for me in a couple of different ways. When I served on the village board for the 1 year, I went in there gung-ho, chest thrown out, and I'm gonna get the town and the village to work together. And I got it from both ends. I got it from the village and I also got it from the town. It's never gonna work. Guys that wanna work together. It's been going on for years. And it's true, it's very true. There's nothing to hide. It's been going on for a very, very long time. And I thought I could break that wall down. I succeeded in some small things, which was a positive step. It's not taking credit for it all. I'm just saying that the talk started. I've seen more talks in the past year than probably, Ray, you've been on the board a very long time. Terry, you've been a long time. More talks that have come out in the past year, which is enlightening. I think it's a tremendous step forward, and we need to keep that momentum going. As far as what's happening with Burnham Road Park, this conversation has been taking place for a very long time. There are certain things that just need to be worked out, which we all know can be worked out. I just don't want to go down the road of saying that the town of Wawarsing board is being prejudiced towards anybody and not trying to help out with the park, because it affects everybody. It affects myself too. My kids grew up here, played in that park. My grandson has played in that park. I've played tennis in that park. It's for everybody. It's not just hurting one group of people. It's hurting us all. We all live here. We're all residents here. It affects all of us. I appreciate the passion that everybody brought here tonight. I appreciate more people are opening up their eyes and seeing what's happened over the years, that maybe this is what it's going to take for something to finally get done, where we can all come to the table and agree and move on. It's going to benefit everybody. That's just my 2 cents. Thank you.
Thank you, Mike. Paul.
Okay, a couple things. First of all, I'd like to second Mike's comments about the park. I think that, as Terry mentioned before, there's Burnham Road Park, and there are several other parks around the town that, we need to make these parks be usable and visible to all of the community. And there are some obstacles, as Terry mentioned before, that need to be resolved, but I also feel that these things can be worked out and will be worked out, and hopefully sooner than later. As far as that Neville project goes, it as Terry said, it is a real big deal. I remember as a kid seeing those Neville commercials on television. I still have that silly jingle in my head. I think that it's part of the history and part of the lure essentially of this whole region and area. And if anyone has not seen the drawings and the plans for that Neverly project, you really ought to stop by Town Hall and take a look at them, because I think that it will be the pride of the town of Wawarsing once it happens. So really excited that we made some steps today to get that to move forward, and hope to see that project to completion sometime real soon. I just want to also address some of the comments that were made by a petitioner earlier today regarding broadband and cable and those type of things. First of all, ever since I've been on the board, which is now going on 3 years, we have had continuous meetings with Charter Spectrum, with Verizon, with T-Mobile, on our own, and also now Terry appointed me to be on the countywide broadband commission, which is actually run by our controller, March Gallagher. So there's a lot going on. It's a very complicated issue, but the fact that, or the concern that nothing's being done is couldn't be any further from the truth. There's actually some opportunities going on, which quite honestly, I never thought would happen in the town in our lifetime, where there's some interest in a private fiber company to actually bring fiber through the town, which could bring exciting opportunities as far as the quality of the internet service that we get, and also to maybe also bring competition, because I can tell you in the 3 years that I've been on the board, working with Charter Spectrum has been one of the most difficult parts of being on this board. They're very difficult to work with. So I think it's great that March is, spearheading this countywide commission, because I think from, many voices, I think we can have a lot more control on the future of our telecommunications and broadband throughout the whole county, versus us individually, as we were in the past, basically trying to town by town and village by village to address this on our own. So again, it's not gone unnoticed. We know it's important. We know that it's part of the future of this town. Many people, when they're looking for real estate, one of the first questions they ask is there internet available on my street? And it's my goal to eventually have that be, whether it be done wireless, or whether it be done by fiber, or whether it be done by some other means, to have that capability basically on every street and town and house within our community, and also in the rest of Ulster County. So that's what I've got for right now. Thank you.
Thank you, Paul. Bill Brown?
Youth Commission, we did interviews and we had a candidate selected, but it did not work out. The candidate changed their mind. We're looking at a couple other options, possibly having the YMCA or the Boys Girls Clubs come here, give us a presentation, and let us know what's available and what the cost would be if we were to go that route. I am the parks liaison for the town, and I just want to say that it may look like that we're not doing anything, but we have had numerous discussions on parks. It may be during a workshop that's not televised or whatever. I am for the children. I am for the parks, and I am confident that we are going to work this out and we're going to get things done. When we ask for information from the other agencies, we need to get that information back for us to make an educated decision. We need to know what the cost is. We need to know what the budgets are. And once we get those things, which we've been asking since last November, before I was even on the board, and we have not gotten figures. You need figures in order to make an educated decision, and one that benefits everybody. I am personally aware that the residents of the village voted for me and voted for the rest of us board members here, and that we need to work with the village, not hold the residents hostage, so to say, because the two boards aren't getting along or aren't cooperating with one another. We have to get past that, move on, and work for everyone in the community. And that's all I have to say.
Cassie?
Okay, as we approved it tonight, start, probably the 28th, we'll publish the link so that you can register your homes if you wanna be part of the contest. The Wassel is taking care of the businesses, their businesses are decorating themselves, and the Wassel is running that contest. The village, the town board is going to oversee and sponsor the homes in our beautiful town and our village, and we hope that everybody participates. We had 12 homes in the Harvest Festival. I'd like to double that. If you decorate your house, please go on our social media and register your house, and then we'll put up the time to vote later on. And it's a lot of fun, and the lights just make everything more beautiful. If you're not gonna do lights, but you wanna decorate the outside of your house, if you send me a note to my email here at cassie.sport@wawarsingny.gov, I will come out and I'll look at it and I'll take a picture so that I can see, because sometimes the lights are easy to see at night, but if you just do a lovely display of greenery outside your house and you want someone to look at it, I'm aware that, electrical costs are going up, not everybody's gonna wanna put lights up, so just let me know and I'll swing by and take a look at your greenery or however you decorated the exterior of your house, because I don't wanna leave anybody out. The more people, it's more fun if we have more options out there. Wawarsing Water District is moving right along. Sorry, I stuttered on that. We have 67 homes connected, currently receiving water. Our next goal is to get the tank that sits up behind the highway barn filled. And we're working on the best way to do that, because you have to fill it, you have to do bacterial tests, and then it's a whole process up there. Once that tank is full, the residents within the Wawarsing Water District will be receiving water from our well field that's out in the middle of the solar array there near the prison. Until then, they're receiving their water from Cohasset, and I appreciate it when the residents call in and tell me how happy they are with.
I just muted.
Call in and let me know that everything went according to plan, or conversely, if there's an issue at their home, so that I can follow up on it. But things are moving along greatly. We are going to have a total of 159 customers in the Wawarsing Water District, so we're at 67. That's not bad. We're coming into the cold months, so we might have to slow it down a little bit, but all of our crews have told us that, well, all but one crew is going to be working through the winter based on weather. If the weather's good, they're going to be out there. If we get 6 feet of snow, no, then they won't be out. But anyway, so that's where we're at. I want to remind you that Town Hall is closed the 24th and the 25th to celebrate the Thanksgiving holiday. And on that note, I'd like to wish all of you a happy and safe holiday, and I hope you have a wonderful time sharing it with your families or those people that are special to you. Terry, that's all I've got.
Thanks. Just for Marie Stanger's education, I mentioned it earlier, but maybe people didn't hear it, is that the town of Wawarsing, obviously tonight, made a proclamation for her 100th birthday, and the county is doing that as well. Legislator Lopez had his car break down and couldn't get here, so we'll be, should be receiving a Pride of Ulster County as well. When Paul was discussing the broadband initiatives in the county and the town of Wawarsing, and people are bringing those topics up to the board. We're well aware of it, like Paul has said, just a couple years ago. When Paul discussed that we're having a ton of meetings, and Paul's been a very good advocate since he's been on the board, for the broadband. Paul's been a very good advocate for broadband as well as IT technology in the town. We, in our workshop today, instead of starting at 5 o'clock, we started at instead of starting at 5:30, we started at 5 o'clock. And we had our web jogger IT company come out and give us some information on how we can improve our systems here in the town. Within the last year or so, though, we looked at Decker Road up in Kerhonkson, and there was 25 homes that Spectrum looked at. And everybody, I see people in the audience when Paul was talking about, you know, Spectrum and dealing with Spectrum, and I saw some heads going like this. They're pretty difficult to deal with. And that one situation where I asked the regional director to look into 25 homes in the Kerhonkson area off of Decker Road, I think the price was $280,000.
Yes.
So if you have $400,000, if we have $400,000, if the village and the town has $400,000 in our fund, what is that gonna do? It's gonna make 35 homes? And I really question the 391 homes that are not, you know, have cable in the town of Wawarsing. It's probably more, right?
Could be, at least parcels for sure. But you know, we've got new technologies now that can take care of things instead of using cable. There's satellite internet, there's 5G service, which the village actually has very, very impressive 5G service already. So there's new and better things coming, and as I alluded to just briefly before, you know, there's an opportunity that we may have some competition coming into town with fiber, which I don't want to say anything more about it, but I'm pretty excited about the prospects of it.
Now, the Starlink is one of the
Yep.
initiatives that's been around for a couple of years. People can get Starlink, which is like a dish on the side of your house, and it's very inexpensive. I think it's $400 or $500 for installation, and then
Yep.
maybe $100 and some dollars a month.
Which is very comparable to what we're paying
So
for
that's
internet.
what we did when we got the quote from Spectrum for $280,000 for the 20-some homes. You know, that's what I directly spoke to those people and they actually formed a little association, like the Craigsmore Association has an association. I suggested that because the Craigsmore has that, why don't you do this down in Kerhonkson? And they did, and it was a pretty organized, you know, group that got together, and after we looked at the 280,000, we couldn't, with good conscience, just pay 280,000 for 25 homes. That's irresponsible.
Yeah.
I mean, it really is. It's kind of like the old way to do it. About 6 or 7, 8 years ago, when I was a councilman, I was the liaison for the meetings that we used to have for Time Warner, and we did Oak Ridge across from the Nevele, Odin's Road. It was 100 homes. I think it was about $100,000 for 100 homes. That was probably the last one that was actually worth it. After that, a couple times that we had done some, like 2 homes, it was like 55,000. Another 7 homes, it was 60-some thousand. Depends on, you know, it all depends on a lot of factors. It depends who owns the poles. If the poles are high enough, you have to work with Verizon, you gotta work with Spectrum. And I think what Paul's, you know, coming to and what he's saying is valid, and I'm glad that we're saying this, is that there's other options out there other than Spectrum. Or hopefully in the long run, they'll come to the conclusion that they should work a little more with the community as well. The youth program, as Bill was mentioning, Bill and I went over to the school and we talked to the school. We talked to Lisa Wiles and Vince Napoli. And once our program director had left town service, and Lisa and Vince both expressed a very strong interest in allowing the town, which includes the village, in a program and use their facilities. They have said that. I'm not putting them on the spot because that's what their opinion was, right? Mm-hmm. So what does that mean? It means that we have now have to come up with a program. Like Bill mentioned, we We interviewed a few people. We thought we had a good person. The person wanted the job and for personal reasons, didn't take the job. We are still considering candidates, but we're also looking at the Boys and Girls Club of Kingston. Dan Whalen is the executive director of that. I've been on the phone probably the last 3 days. He has been so helpful in the last 2 or 3 days, sharing ideas and comments. He's gonna share he's gonna be providing what they do as a, what they really represent, and then some of the avenues or some of the areas that they actually do have programs and Saugerties. And by getting this information, we can possibly mold our program, which we are still proposing to have a 12-month program. We've had for probably 10 years, or 12 years, a 10-week summer program. It was held at the school. It was utilizing the Ellenville School pool, which is in dire shape. We've utilized the Kerhonkson pool. We actually have been getting a stipend from the town of Rochester for that purpose, for just specifically the Kerhonkson pool. But by using, I think, when I was talking to Dan the last couple of days, we've texted, we've emailed, we've talked on the phone, and there's a flushing out of ideas on how we want to do this the right way at the best cost possible to the taxpayers. I mean, to just have grandiose ideas and let's go buy this building and let's do this and let's do this, a lot of times that takes years to do. And if you don't do it the right way, it's gonna cost a lot of money. And it's not gonna be, and sometimes it doesn't work out where it's getting you what you even want or need. But we are definitely looking at all the different scenarios, but I just finished texting them before the meeting today and told them that, what we have to do is come up with a plan now, because the program stopped basically about a month or two ago. So we have to we can't, work on this for a year. We have to get somebody and have a program, and I think the school could be a very good avenue for utilizing that. Again, these are just ideas that I've got from talking to Mr. Whalen, talking to the town board. I'm not making the decisions, we're flushing this out. And whether you have a brand new building, or if we can't afford it and we use the school facilities, if they say we can use the school facilities, I think that's a home run.
Yep.
In a lot of ways. But when I say that, it has to be specific to how is it a home run? How is it, what are you gonna provide there? This town board is a very good board right now. And what they've also discussed along with the youth program, was a senior program.
Yep.
Okay, we've discussed that with the school also, if they could, use it for senior activities in some fashion. So I think we're in a really good spot right now as far as doing that, and
just to add on to that too, the school now is looking into doing intramural sports to try to better their sports programs. They're starting with little kids with soccer and football at different times of the year, baseball and everything else, to try to bring the level of athletic ability to a new height, which could also give us some ideas of building our program.
yeah.
With piggybacking on to the schools, if we have like individuals that we could bring on to coach or whatever to.
I think everybody knows and agrees that, athletics in any fashion at a young level is going to help, in a lot of ways, disciplining children and, in the right way to handle competition or handle conflicts. There's other things other than athletics at the program. When I talked to Dan Whalen, there's many other facets of their program that they actually get into as far as besides the athletics. And, I'm really excited about how that can flush out in the next month or two. Because we have to make a decision to get that, to continue this program. We have the wassail that we're getting involved with.
A little bit.
But, and it's actually probably kind of fortunate that right at this point, if we had a separation in the program, it's at this particular time during the winter. But again, we want to have a full 12-month program and a really full summer program, because prior to the pandemic, we serviced about 325 children in the school. And then this past year, it was like 250.
Yeah, roughly.
So we're getting back to where those numbers were, and there's a lot of real positive things that with the community that we have to accent, that we have to. But when there's things that have to be brought up that can make the town better, the town board, I think, here is really ready and able to listen to that and to contribute that way. The budget for this year, I delivered it to Kingston yesterday, to the county government building, and the town passed a budget that is a 0% tax, 0% increase in tax levy. So that's a pretty good thing, and I would say for the last 5 years, the last 4 years plus this year, the cumulative increase in the tax levy is 0.15.
That's pretty
I
darn
would
good.
challenge anybody to talk to me and tell us what other community has done that. Again, you have to provide services to the residents, and the services that we're providing, we're lucky that we got the DEP to pay $20 million for a project that is going to provide clean water to their houses. It's been a bad road that we've had to go to. The DEP back in 2012 and 13 weren't admitting that their aqueduct was even leaking, and it is leaking, and it was leaking, and it's leaking like 25 million gallons a day, as well as over by Newburgh, I believe, right?
Yep.
So, back in 2018, Steve Bradley and myself spoke with the DEP, and that actually started from back to 2012 or 13. It was kind of just slow walking it, and we actually did get their attention, and they did start. And believe it or not, I mean, when you say 4 years, the project's going to be done, and within the next 5 or 6 months, probably.
Yep.
Unless we hit a glitch, but they're all, before we get to the end of summer, everybody thinks it should be hooked up and happy. And, if there's any problems, we'll sort them out. Like I said, the tank is our biggest issue right now,
Gotta get
getting
that
it
tank
filled,
filled.
because it's 500,000 gallons of water that we have to put in there.
Right.
And then we have to pass some tests for that, but once we get through that, it'll downhill sailing there. So yeah, I'm optimistic that if I was a betting woman, which I'm not, I would say June.
Yeah. Yep, but again, I'd like to thank the board, Cassie and Paul. As far as the liaisons are water and sewer, and when you look at 4 years, yeah, that sounds like a long time, but when the magnitude of what had to be done to get that district done is a lot of work. I think that's it. Let's see. We did talk about the building department, Frank leaving. Yes, he was a very good gentleman. He treated the public and everybody that he talked to with respect.
Ultimately.
Yes.
And I like to talk about Mike Machetta because some people may know, he's been in the building trades for how many years?
41.
And you're only like 50 years old. How does that work?
35.
How does that work?
35. It's tough to look like this, you know?
Right, yeah. So when he came on, I made him the liaison for the building department, which I think has been a positive at this point. Frank is gone, but we just hired John Upazak. He's has 6 classes to take for certifications, and
He got one of them done already.
Each one of the classes is 4 hours, 6 days, and he scored 100 on the test. So we believe that's going to work out fine. And Mike also and I have talked to the building department, and this isn't something that's a negative. I think it's a positive. When you talk to people in the department as well as the town, all of us that work here, or all of us are elected, but the people that work here serve the community. We are here to, and Jackie knows this, being the town clerk, she's, you know, that's the first place they normally go to. If they're in the wrong place, Jackie will tell them, well, it's upstairs or it's over here.
Jackie will tell them where to go.
Well, no, I don't think so. But really, what Mike and I are doing with the building department, and we've actually hired Barbara Stanger, Marie Stanger's granddaughter, a few months ago, and she's working out fine. She took over
Doing a great job.
She took over Barbara Pace's position in the planning board and building department. And our motto, Mike, right, is that if you get a phone call, or if you get an email, or if you get a text, or if you get somebody walking in the building,
Own it.
we have to treat them like they're customers.
Yes.
And that's, you know, if we can do that, it should, you know, finger out into the community, and we shouldn't, I mean, let's be real. The building department is a hard position to be in. To do that type of job, the person on the other side is somebody that might not know what they have to do as far as getting permits, or they might know and they don't want to. So it really comes down to understanding that as an employee or as an elected official, that, you know, our job is not the easiest job, and our job is actually to try to resolve something, whether it's a positive outlook or a positive response, or if it's something that maybe can't be worked out, but is done in a respectful way. Okay?
I don't think this is my regular chair.
So, I think at this point, let's,
I'll make a motion
So
to adjourn.
moved.
well, that was kinda quick.
I thought you were done.
I thought I would talk for another 5 minutes.
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
All right,
Second.
Mike makes the motion to adjourn.
Second.
Bill seconds it.
And I
All
say
in
aye.
favor?
Aye.
Aye.